All right, welcome back to part two. If you've listened to part one, then you already know we're not having a surface level conversation because now we're getting into the part that most people avoid. And that is the who do I have to become to survive? And who do I have to release to actually live? Terry and I are going to dive right into some soulful, unfiltered, authentic conversation. Welcome back, and we'll see you on the inside. Let's go.
I think that our world is a little bit upside down from the way I see it. And, I really started waking up to this during my crazy years of perimenopause, because I would just look around and I'd be like, holy cannoli. Everything I thought was facts, I started to see through the veil that it was actually complete nonsense. Like, it didn't make any sense. And it was completely made up. It was this narrative of, how we're supposed to do things. And it really starts at home. And I started really questioning everything. And I don't know what the heck my hormones did to me, but they've rewired my entire brain. And everything I thought I knew, I was like, wow, what an idiot. How could you live all the way to 40 and not know these things? Like, I didn't know anything about nutrition. I had zero nutritional literacy. Why? Because it wasn't going to make me any money. So who cares, right? I knew absolutely nothing about physical exercise. I did not step a foot in the gym. It was a waste of time. Only vain people went to the gym. I wasn't a supermodel. Who the hell cared what I looked like, right? I just had to work, okay?
Yes, you produce, you build things, yeah.
Like, what in the world was that all about, right? And imagine 40 brainwashing campaign that was instilled in me that you're not worthy of anything other than producing, right?
And most of us still are clocking in and out on that payroll where you are to produce. You've got, and I listen, and I find, because again, I say we've been awakened, right, to the truth, and the veil has been removed, like you said. It's like, I'm in a space though, I guess my perimenopausal phase where it says, if they don't ask me, I'm not telling them, because people are, if they're not ready, they're not ready. Like, we tell them on the podcast here, that's why we show up. We're messengers, but that's about it. A lot of times I get in a conversation. Now with 180 episodes, I can say, go listen to episode blah, blah, because believe it or not, I am one of the first people when it goes up, I'm one of the first people listening to these episodes. And a lot of times I got my notepad out because I'm learning way more than I learned when I was on the call. But if people are not ready, this is why I believe a lack of education is so important. But how are you going to get education if you don't even know the education like that exists? Like you said, I had no inkling. I was programmed to produce. And believe it or not, even some women who have done all the work on their bodies, they're still only doing that to produce an image that aligns with the type of man that says they're desirable. So now I'm meeting these women who look so great on the outside, have the job as well, but on the inside, they don't even like themselves, because losing weight and building health is not just physical. You say, Terry, it's identity work. What is identity? What did you have to let go of to become the version that you are today?
Oh my gosh. One of the first realizations that I had, and it was a very intuitive kind of thing. It wasn't like something that was very obvious to me. And it just kind of quietly was kind of like, kind of feeling, when you start learning how to recognize that, it was like, it's a slight like whisper. It just whispers to you. One of the first things that came to me was in the space of transformation, right? Like this whole industry of transforming, it's a thing, right? It's all about, let's change our identity, right? Let's change who we are. Let's build this new you, like this whole thing, right? The brave new world order, new you. all this crap, right? And so I kept
That's
hearing
hype and
this.
nonsense. Yeah.
Yeah, like I keep hearing that. And then people hear it and they start repeating it and it propagates everywhere and then everybody starts saying it. And then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, it must be true because, everybody's saying that. You got to be a new you. You got to build a new you.
We need
And
to
then
empower women. I don't even use
empower
that word.
women.
I
That's
don't even
another
use that word anymore. If you
big.
live on my platform, I don't talk about women's empowerment.
Yes. That was a whole other realization. Let me tell you, when I learned that women's empowerment was a complete farce.
Yes, and it's also it's like that's one of the big ways how we got into what you described, what you and I described, how we showed up. We work, 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 work. That's what we were empowered to. It's like you were empowering a whole nother type of slavery.
Ooh,
And I'm like, I do not subscribe. No, sir, no, ma'am. I talk about women repositioning
right.
because we innately know who we are and we innately know why we are. We have to reconnect. And then once we reconnect, we reposition. Period. We don't need
Bingo.
to be empowered because when I empowered is a whole nother brand of crazy. It's like now we want all these little packages on a board, just on a what they call a belt, just sliding more clones,
Mhm.
cloning women, CEOs, da da da. No, 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 no. If you like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I'm gonna be a princess with my own farm and vegetables and fruit and
Yep.
probably a bungalow underground. That's what I'll be doing. You don't like that answer now, do you? That's what I thought. Then don't ask me, ask somebody else. Because I
Yep.
am not a clone. I am me. And I'm gonna follow what makes my heart sing.
I love this. I love this. The other thing is, here's the thing. How the heck can they empower me when they don't have a power, right? So the insinuation is that
Come on.
it,
Make me throw my glasses. I'm done. That's it, girl. Go for it. Go, go, go. I'm sorry to
I
disrupt
can't
you.
empower you because you already have the power. So what does that say? What is that really saying? They're empowering me. So that means I'm disempowered. And hold up,
And here comes my
right?
knight in shining armor. Tinkered, you're empowered. Tink.
Thank you, system, for giving me power. But that was the first thing that I realized is like, wait a minute, I don't need a new identity. I just want mine back. Thank you. Like, I want all the garbage out of my realm. All this crap out of here. Okay. All this made up BS that I'm hearing about all this and that. I don't want it. I
Mhm.
need to hear my own voice because that
Yes.
all knowing being that lives in here has been silenced for too long. And in
Yes.
fact, your empowerment is silencing it even more. So I just need
Yes.
everybody to get the heck out of my head.
Exactly. Silence your mom. Silence your
Yes.
priest, your pastor, your priest, your school teacher. Silence, silence. Because I'm empowered
Yes.
by myself, for
Yes.
myself, with myself. And now I can pour from a full cup and not a place of constantly like, yeah, but I have to drop her off. And yeah, I have to do this. And then da 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 da. And then da da da. I don't have to do nothing. I get to, and then I choose. It's presented. Opportunities are presented and I choose. They say, how do you do what you do? Because I choose to. And what do you do for fun? Everything.
Wherever the
What
heck
don't
I
I
want
do for
to.
fun? Yes. Because if I'm not having a good old fashioned time, like anybody who listens to this podcast, you can tell I'm in my zone when I get on here with a sister or a brother and we're just rocking out. Everybody just gets to listen to a good time that we're having two souls connecting. But otherwise, I'm not going to show up. If it becomes me, like, so yeah, what is weight loss and why do women need to wait? If it ever becomes that, just shut it down. Shut it down. We're done. I'm not going to come.
Refreshing because my son calls those types of people NPCs because they're just reading off a script, like there's no actual connection. Like you can't find them. Like the energy is just not there. And I'm like, wow, there's a
There's a
lot
lot
of
of them.
that going on.
Gone. Exactly. A
Yeah.
lot of them going. And I was trying to figure out, I'm like, yeah, it is definitely something. So whatever NPCs are, it's giving not normal. But here's the thing too, because a lot of us get the awakening,
Mm.
but we end up sabotaging the progress right when things start working. What's happening there? Have you ever experienced that yourself?
Great question. So there's a really fantastic book called Atomic Habits, and James Clear talks about our thermostat, right? So at birth, we're born with a certain capacity to
Mhm,
experience full joy, right? And so we have
mhm,
a set limit. Some of us have, higher limits, some of us have lower limit, whatever it is. So we have that. We really, I believe in that in this realm that we currently exist in, and our mission is to expand our thermostat, right? Bring more or have more bandwidth. I like the way I like to explain it is the highway, right? So some people have
mm,
1 lane, some people have 10 lanes. How do we get to 10 lanes? How do we expand the bandwidth of traffic or
mhm,
emotion that we can handle at the same time without having a traffic jam, without intuitively trying to shut down the lanes because we feel
yeah,
like, oh, we can't handle all this traffic all at the same time. And
love
so
that.
we do that without realizing, that we have the capacity, we just haven't built the lanes yet, right? To be able to have that flooding of emotion. And, it could be good emotion, it could be sad emotion, it could be grief, it could be anything. When we are not prepared to accept the volume that's coming at us, we shut it down.
Right,
And when we don't have the awareness that this mechanism is there, we tend to stay stuck for a long time in our 1 lane, right? And I'm not saying 1 lane
mhm.
is bad. That could be also an upgrade for some of us, right? So we might have had half a lane. We might have been on a hiking path before, right?
Or a whole just a traffic jam the whole time on that lane, yeah.
That's right. And so, from birth, we start to learn that this flooding of emotion that we experience sometimes is uncomfortable. And so it
Mm,
alerts our nervous system that, something traumatic happens or somebody abandons us or somebody shames us or, something, these types of feelings, they bring a flood of traffic into that highway.
mm,
Learn that we want to avoid that at all costs. But ultimately, I feel like that's the way through becoming the type of person like what you're describing of having a true identity, observing the traffic that's coming through and being okay with that, right? So, all those thoughts and feelings and ideas that are just traveling through. If you, I don't know if you meditate, if you ever meditated, how hard it is to kind of stay focused and just learn how to
mhm,
observe that highway and not be attached to them, right? So not
mm.
to feel like you are those thoughts and just be
Right.
completely independent from all of that and observe the human experience for what it is. I feel like that's the learning. That's the highest form of learning we could do is to separate ourselves from the physical world and really understand that we're a bioelectric being that is here to experience human life or whatever it is. I don't know. And so we sabotage. Yeah, we bring ourselves back to basics to kind of feel comfortable because it's so uncomfortable.
Mhm. Yes. Do you believe that a lot of women stay stuck because being unwell serves us in some way or the other? Because I can say, for me, it did. Do you think that's very common?
Or it's very lonely to live this particular life, right? It's a very lonely experience
Mm,
because the options out there for finding like-minded people it gets harder and harder. And so you
mhm,
have to kind of accept and be comfortable with that feeling and that reality that your options are going to be very limited, and once you enter that particular room in life, it's very difficult to settle for anything else because there's no connection, there's no, like when you are, what does my son call it, first player or whatever it is, so the person that's actually playing the video game versus the npc is a non-character player.
yes.
It's very hard to connect to the non-character player because they're just there, right? And
Right.
yeah.
Ooh, that's a mic drop because I like you said it and I see it right there. Like it starts to make sense. That's a good analogy. I just know, like I remember me saying a lot of the toxicity, like I stayed longer, I did put up with much more and kept putting up because for some reason or the other, it was a comfort zone and I was afraid of the unknown. So while I complained and felt stressed and didn't like it, when I did the math in my brain and experienced the level of fear of what it would look like without, if I chose not to put up with these things, what was I choosing then? I don't know. So I didn't, right? And so being unwell and just over delivering and putting myself through the meat grinder, as I called it, to be maintain those relationships with people and even the comfort zones. Like when you eat whatever you want, drink whatever you want, there's not a lot of thought that goes into it. Just after when your stomach burns or something. But when you are living a healthy lifestyle, for example, now you're considering, okay, so if we're going to go to dinner, where am I going to go? Are there going to be foods there that I'm going to overindulge in? If so, I must prepare myself to say no, pass on the dessert. Okay, I'm going to eat a very high carb meal, but I'm only going to eat a smaller portion of it. I'm still keeping my calorie. So at first, because you had all those years, as you said, of borrowing from your success ahead of time from your health, now you're going to have to commit and go through, way more than 21 days of the new habit and sometimes stop and restart and then readjust and then rebuild and restart as many times as it takes consistently without fear, without judgment of yourself. And even because I remember people like, "Oh, she don't eat. She not gonna eat that. I thought I baked a cake, but I didn't save you any because you don't eat cake." Who said I don't eat cake? I just don't eat a whole pan, a whole pound. But I eat cake and I like cake. I just enjoy my cake. And if it's not good cake, I'm not eating it because I will not waste my delicious calories for a bad piece of cake just because I want to eat cake. But before it's like cake, how much cake? Where's the cake at? Now I'm like, where's the good, really tasty, juicy cake? I'm not asking for healthy cake. No, 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 no. It's got a lot of butter. I need good cake, but I'm eating a small piece of it once every few months. Then every week I'm at this grocery store looking for cake. So this discipline is what makes you uncomfortable because you don't know what you have to be on. So that's what my take is from everything we're saying with it. It's get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And one thing I used to say, Terry, and I'm going to hand this over to you. I say, get comfortable being a misfit. A misfit is a great fit for greatness. I made that up years ago because I realized I was even a misfit when I went along with everything. But now that I'm living life on my terms, I don't fit anywhere very often. I just find people who we just know. And you have this great connection. And I live for those moments and I enjoy them without feeling like I need to be attached. Like, oh my God, Terry, where are you? Are you coming over? When are we going to see you again? It's like, Terry, there you are. I see you and I celebrate you and I'm enjoying you. And if there's more time for us, I'll let God, the universe decide. But for now, you're here, I'm here. We're gonna have a freaking awesome time. And that's how I live. So I don't have to fit and I don't have to always have something or someone that believes or agree with me. It's okay.
That's so
That's the
hard,
comfort.
right?
It is, but you get there.
Hmm.
I mean, whether you went through it because you didn't give F's anymore, or you just realize nothing else freaking works. I'm gonna try the lone wolf path, not because I'm withdrawing myself from anybody, but I'm gonna just I'm going. So I don't care who's coming with me. And that's basically it. I'm going. I know where I'm going. I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but I have to keep going because it's north. So I'm gonna get north. I might fall off track sometimes. I might take a stop and rest for a while. I might feel like I don't want to go anymore sometimes, but I'm going. That's it. Period.
Because you're on that path. And once you awaken and you become aware of that path, there's no going back. And that's the part that makes it lonely, right? And I've
Yeah.
had a lot of these very similar conversations with people where, you're having a good time, everything is really great. And then people become super attached. They want to latch on, right? And they want to hold you and put you in this bird cage. And you're like, wait a minute, hold up, hold up. I've been in the book in the cage before and I'm not going back there. So you either get to enjoy a free range bird just flying around with me and, be having your mindset that maybe I want to go in the other direction than you have to be okay with that. Right. And so you have to be okay with separation. You have to be okay with going your separate ways because that's your path and that's the other person's path. You have to be okay knowing that you're going to be okay no matter what happens and not get attached, right? So attached is a not a good thing, right? And so a
Because
lot of
life is changing, people are
yes,
changing, changes, changes, change it. What are you attaching to?
yes, and so it's very hard. I've realized that the way that I am, it's very hard for people to accept, to understand, to even grasp. Like, how the hell does she do that? But that's what I feel like is being called to me. And, it is what it is.
It is what it is. And your soul is at rest and at peace with yourself. And I feel like a lot of times people talk, oh, yeah, we want love, we want happiness, we want this. I'm like, I don't know. I wrote this maybe 6 years ago. I think what the soul really seeks, at least mine, is peace. Peace. And peace is infinite and it has a barrage of different other emotions and feelings. And sometimes you can call them needs in it. Sometimes it feels, but again, I think what I learned to do is not be attached to versions of myself and the stories in my own head.
Absolutely.
And that's when letting go. I wrote in my late 20s, mid to late 20s about the art of letting go. And then I realized there's actually songs. So many artists have sang songs of it. And I talk about that's the biggest conflict of the human soul is letting go. As I got older in my early 30s, I realized it starts with me letting go with versions of myself, thoughts and ideals of myself that no longer serves me is where the biggest conflict is. Once I got into the practice of like, okay, you are used to be a teacher, but you're not a teacher anymore. You're not in classrooms. And let go of that version of yourself so you can get into your new career. So people ask me, like, you've had so many different literal careers. I'm like, yeah, but they're all the same to me. And they're like, what do you mean? Being a teacher is very different from being a prime minister of a royal kingdom. I'm like, yeah, but not really, because it's just a title and it's a way of I'm serving, but the servant's heart, the leader, the guide, the mentor comes with me everywhere I go. And also the great follower and the person who's coachable comes with me everywhere I go. And it just makes that role that I play in that capacity
Mm,
worth it
I
because
got
I'm moving from
chills.
alignment, right? So it
Yes.
doesn't I tell people, "Do it, do it, do it, do it," just but it's really the art of letting go of what you find to be comfort in and not being afraid of the unknown, because the unknown is where bliss is, trust.
And your spirit is just wearing a different outfit with all these labels, right? It's like trying on different shirts and pants, but you're still the same spirit. You're still the same energy. And when you're true to that, that's where I think peace comes because you don't need to fake who you are for the sake of this world. Because once you wake up to the fact that this world is completely upside down, it's like, wait a minute, why am I faking myself? I am the real thing. I am the truth. Yet I'm gonna twist myself up to fit the lie. Doesn't make any
That's gonna
sense.
tell me that, "Oh, that's not it. They're gonna change anyway." Then I learned when I was going through my separation, people who I trusted, a group of people said, "Why would you all do that? That's crazy." And they rejected me, felt like I should put a stop to us agreeing to separate. And then when we were dragging, like, who's paying for the divorce? What are we? And we're dragging out, why are you not divorced? The same people. And, like, finally it clicked. I mean, it's happened a million times in some of the most important times in my life, and then finally it clicked. You listen to people who changed their minds based on I don't even know what. You can't even say the weather. The weather is more stable than people's opinions, and don't even get mad at them. They're going with whatever information you're giving them in the moment because they supposed like you. This is why you can't bank on what they're saying. So, and that's what I'm learning. Like, if you don't take a hold of your life and go back inside, you're going to be one of the most miserable people, and you ain't gonna have nobody but yourself to blame. Because They're not gonna take accountability for the information they provided you when you were in desperate need of advice. So you better be able to connect with your own truth and live in harmony with yourself. And I don't use the word balance. That's why I introduced because you don't either in your work. You don't talk about balance. And you say that it's it's like hocus pocus.
It's a made up
Balance is not
thing.
real. It is. I talk about harmony only because even when I'm working hard and I am doing a lot, it's still what's in line with my soul. So people might say, well, why don't you go out more and go out and hang out at a bar or go golfing or go out on dates? I'm like, because that doesn't make me feel happy, not because I'm avoiding being out there. I literally don't. I remember when I was like, oh, I want to be remarried. It's so important to me. And then I asked myself, "Do you wanna this?" No, I said I did only because I was raised in church where if you're not married and you're having intercourse with someone, it's a sin. Only reason. Because I'm like, maybe I'll wanna have sex again one day, and I wanna be this good Christian girl. And I realized that wasn't me. That was what I was told to be. So,
Mhm.
no, I had to dig deep, and I'm like, I don't even really wanna be married again. Like, that's not
I
an
don't blame
objective
you.
that I have.
Have you seen
This
what's
is
out there?
and did you see the research that women who get married, they die earlier, they
Yes,
have
I've
more
seen
diseases?
that.
And look
And
at
the men
me
live longer. Men are happier
because they
married.
because they have us. And that's that energetic transfer right there that we talked about. Girl, we have to have another episode because like for me, like I literally, if I show you pictures, you talked about it. I heard people say it's like you're aging backward. No, I'm looking and I'm like,
Mhm.
and it's not even about the fat, it's even the look in my eyes. Like,
Yes.
looking in my eyes was just so glazed.
Mhm.
My
Yeah.
skin.
My belief is that when you're the type of person that's here to be in service, you can't really change that, right? So you're in service all the time to your partner, to your husband, to your wife, to your children. That it's innate, right? And when it's not a good fit with the partner and you do that, you're completely drained, right? So and it's not that it's one person's fault or it's my fault or his fault or he's a bad person and I was a horrible person, which I'm sure I was, I have my
Right.
moments,
We have
right?
our moments, but I would never put it on my ex-husband.
Me neither. But it's a misfit. It's a misalignment. The energy is not conducive to a healthy, combined type of existence, right? And
Mhm.
so it's draining. And it's not anybody's fault. It's just not a fit.
Aligned. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you know, you know. And, thank God for knowing, I'm grateful that I was 34 when not just me, even him knew. Hey, sometimes, and I'm trying to get people to understand, like you said, it didn't make all the time we spent together bad or wrong. I feel it gets bad when you go over the time that it was supposed to last for or the purpose for which it was supposed to serve. But it did. And it was good. What it did and when it lasted and what it served, it's us prolonging the stay and the time we spend there. It's like, you can't be at a hotel and they treat you well when you don't pay your bill. Like, that's why they
I
take a
like that.
deposit. They're gonna kick you out. Even if you own your house, you don't pay property taxes, you're losing a house. You're gonna be homeless. If you're renting a condo, you don't pay this much rent. Tell me what happened. You get
Mm.
rejected and ejected out of that house.
I'm gonna have to borrow this analogy. I
Go
like it.
for it.
There's an expiration date here. There's a check-in and a checkout time. Okay.
And guess and you know what, Terry, I tell someone, let's say you want to think it's woohoo because a lot of us have been talking about, and it feels right for me that my soul determined what I wanted to do when I came here. I made a contract, but then I forget. And then here I come and I'm born to the parents I choose, all that. I like that better because I'm like, okay, even if you think it's weird and woohoo, for me, maybe I thought it was weird and woohoo to think that, but trust me, it works. Here's why. Because if I set this whole thing up, knowing I'm smart I am now, in my before life, I'm pretty sure I'm way smarter. So if I set this up, it's gotta be great. So I'm following it. Toodaloots. Because nobody knows better for me but me. I am
Mm.
in my life. And therefore, it's gotta work out. So when you know the time is up, let go, sister. Let go, girl.
Mhm,
On
and wish
anything.
them well. It's not doesn't have to be dramatic, horrible thing. It could be a really it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It doesn't have to be bad unless, children involved and all that. That
Right,
could get
and
a
people
little
can't
right.
agree and stuff, I get that, but I tell people, I'm like, "How many people know the horrible things that my ex might have done in a relationship?" It is, like, a very small group, and I will tell you only because I say we were 80-20, and when I speak about our relationship, a lot of people say, "Why did y'all get divorced?" Because it was time. That's the answer I have after everything. It was time.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, it's time. And we know when it's time. We always know. And I feel like many of us try to stay longer just to make sure. And then things happen and we become scared of what's going to be
Mhm,
out there. What's it
mhm.
going to be like? How are we going to be okay? Are we going to be able to survive? All these other things. Or what are people going to think about us? How are people going to judge us for doing
Mhm.
this? All these fears. And then a lot of people end up not taking the leap, right? And
And
then they end up
then you learn
staying.
people don't even care that much. They're gonna be like,
Right.
"Oh, what happened? Blah, 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 blah," and then they forget. They'll even I remember people, like, it's over 10 years now, and people still think I'm with my husband, my ex-husband. And I know we had this like, "How is your husband?" Like, "What?"
Which one?
You know what I did? I actually, at some point, I was like, "He's doing great last time I checked." And they didn't even catch because that question, they didn't even care about the answer. I said, "He's doing great last time I checked or last time I heard." And they didn't even catch that's what I said. They only heard he's doing great and they moved on. I'm like, you see, they don't, this is why people don't care. One of my first, people don't care as much as you want to think they do. And put in your whole life, it's you that think too much about what people think that they're not even thinking. That's your problem. So, like, don't even hype yourself up on what people think because if that's the reason you're making a decision or not making a decision, honey, you will be out there swimming in you won't even be swimming, you'll be drowning in the Atlantic Sea or the Pacific Ocean because you're misled. And I hope someone listening to us hears what we're saying and they can connect with it and go bravely and just align yourself with yourself. And trust me, trust the process. It always works out. It's all working for your good. You getting in its way is what's more pain costing you anything.
Exactly. We get in our own way. Yes.
So rapid fire question, because I know we definitely have a two-parter here. I'm going to ask you for the woman listening right now. She's overwhelmed. She's tired. She knows something has to change. What are three non-negotiables she needs to start today?
Get better sleep, learn about nutrition, go to the gym.
Or build one in your living room like I did. My favorite gym is too far, and I did not make that an excuse. Literally.
Yeah, you
I
can do it
the
from
whole
home.
world opens up. Yeah, I got my weights and I have a trainer that's virtual. She's on YouTube and I subscribe and I get my workouts and I follow a routine that works for my body.
Yep,
Best thing ever happened. Now,
that's
if
right.
you can go to the gym, I prefer to be in the gym because they will have more equipment. But if you're going to tell me you can't afford a gym or you don't know what to do in the gym, I will tell you excusitis, and please excuse yourself from that disease. Go get a YouTube video and start ordering a couple things offline. And don't women, listen, you know what, Terry, I was one of the women who they told because I was very toned and muscular growing up, not like a dude or anything, but I had these really good toned thighs, better than I do now. Of course, I'm a little bit older and I've only started training like 2 years now. And they told me back then that if you lift, you will get more masculine, you'll start to look because you have these muscles. biggest lie ever.
Yep.
That's when I became in the best shape of my life. All my dieting and all the exercise I did, because I wasn't weight training, I wouldn't see the transformation. Transformation came by month 3 so quickly that it was like, what? Why did I listen? But again, back then, I think the research wasn't there as much. And they only look at weight training as a man's sport. And any woman who did, she was whatever. And of course, I was in Guyana, South America, where we were definitely very gender-ish and, women here, men there, all that stuff. So weight training has been the best thing I've done. Great advice.
Yep.
Great advice.
Same.
Quick
Same.
question. Who do you serve and how do you serve them? Tell us how we can connect with your work and what you do.
Women over 40 who were or are in a similar place that I was at when I entered my 40s. Now I'm entering my 50s. So I feel like I have a lot more to offer from a lived experience of real failures, real ignorance. I was so ignorant, but I thought I knew everything. I had a big ego. I thought I had it all figured out. And meanwhile, I knew nothing about taking care of myself and really, really multiple failures. So I'm not really coming into this from a perspective of theory and having read a couple of books on it. I actually lived it. And so the
Mhm.
depth and the substance of from which I feel all of this is how I serve women
Mhm.
at my retreats and online. And that is my purpose in life.
That's it. So when is your next upcoming retreat? Do you have one on the books?
Yeah, so there's one May 13th. It's sold out. The next one after that is June 11th, I think. Something like that.
Wow. So you do them pretty often. How
Once
many
per
times a
month
year? Once per month. And is it virtual and in
in
person? What is it like?
person. In person.
Wow. How many women do you cater to?
12 at a time.
Beautiful. How many days? I'm asking all the
5.
questions. Wow. So you're going deep. You're getting in there.
Yes.
And you guys are coming up, I would love to say repositioned. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So what's your favorite way for us to contact you?
So you can connect with me on the website. It's thehouseofrose.com or on Instagram, How Good Can It Get? And right now I actually have a new cookbook and a free macro calculator. If you guys are
Wow.
interested in figuring out what your calories should be, how much protein, carbs, and fat per day, broken down per meal, super detailed. It is free and we just launched it this month. So if anybody's interested,
It's going to be on the website as well. Are you okay?
and I'll give you the link so you can link to it
Perfect.
from the caption.
Absolutely. That's exciting. I can't wait to see. And congratulations on that as well.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So I have to ask you, Terry, how do you define success for yourself now?
You talked about it. Peace, having peace, being content with whatever it is, right? Whatever it is, to accept it, accepting it, acceptance,
Yes.
contentment, peace.
So good. So good. So good. This has been such a great conversation, Terry. Thank you so much for being here with us for this 2-parter episode. I just want to remind you, disruptors, listen, nobody's coming to regulate your health for you. Not a doctor, not your partner, not your business. You are either building a life that sustains you or one that's slowly draining you. And at some point, you have to decide, is your success worth your suffering? Or are you finally ready to build on both? I really, really, again, from the bottom of my heart, this beautiful, soulful, authentic conversation. I would love to have you back on the show again for season 4. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. White. I had a fantastic conversation with you.
It was. Thank you so much. Everyone listening, go to the links in the description and connect with Terry. Get that new. I'm definitely excited to get the macro calculator and see what next I can add to my toolbox of staying and living healthy, because this body is the container for all the wonderful things I get to do in the world. If this really resonates with you, that means you probably found yourself a mentor. So until next time, keep mastering your mindset. Think, speak to become. I'm Dr. Alisa with Terry saying we'll see you on the next one. Bye now.